Thanks for staying with us. Customs impound more seizures from smugglers operating along the nation's borderline. Also on customs report, the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service continued to brief members of the National Assembly on how the Nigerian Customs Service is operating. Plus, more report. I am Igiseme Engineer. Stay tuned. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service has continued to brief members of the National Assembly on the operations of the Nigerian Customs Service. In one of the sections, he told the members that the budget will further help the service to generate more revenue for the country.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, page 1 is just a recap of what the service is. I don't think we need to waste time on that one. So I quickly move to page 2 of the summary. And then I start with item 2 there, which is the review of the 2021 approved budget performance. Revenue performance of 2021 budget. The approved revenue target for the year 2021 stood at 1.679 trillion. The service collected a total revenue of 1.716 trillion for the period of January to December 2021. When compared to the approved revenue target of the same period, January to December 2020, the service surpassed its target by 504.34 billion, or 41.63%. The service also collected the sum of 525.06 billion as value-added tax on imports from January to December 2021, thereby bringing the total collection for the year 2021 to 2.241 trillion for the period under review. Page 3. Most importantly, the above remarkable performance was recorded amidst the following militating factors. As usual, as always, we continue to state this because they are part of the militating factors against what we believe would enhance the collection of revenue and maximizing our collection. First among them is the standing government, the deliberate trade and economic policies, monetary both and physical, such as the restriction of 43 items from accessing forex at official window. While we are not saying we're not against it, and I'm sure the wisdom behind this is good enough, but it is one of those things that has reduced the amount that we would have collected. 2, the non-functional scanners at the various customs scanning sites. This factor has adversely affected the service's ability to carry out effective examination for selective consignment, and the chairman made mention of this in his opening remarks. 3, only 2 commodities, cigarette and alcoholic beverages, were under excise control within the period under review. So we are yet to get the directive to start collecting the 10% on carbonated drink, and also we are yet to come to terms of who is going to collect the telecommunication excise. That is still under process, and it is our hope that before the end of the first quarter of this year, we will precisely get go ahead to start collecting, because every day that passes by, we are losing revenue.
The Controller General, of course, also speaks on the fight against smuggling along the nation's borderline throughout the country.
Evasion and economic sabotage. Thus, high level of this relationship must be deliberately structured in order to broaden our tax collectivity. Page 8, Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators. 2022 expected income. The service proposed a budget expenditure of 369.14 billion for the year 2022, which will be sourced from the following sources. First is the 7% cost of collection for the year 2022. We expect to reach 151.84 billion. 2, 60% CISS granted by Mr. President, we expect to reach 60.12 billion. And 2% share of the NCS batch collection, there we expect to generate 14.94 billion. And then the retained income for the year 2021 to roll over to 2022 is 114.39 billion. And the share of the excess of the 2021 budget, which of course we couldn't have made any effort of spending it because it was not budgeted, as a result of the of exceeding the target, we were able to get this amount also added to our own collection. The total sum, therefore, distinguished here, is 369.14 billion. The expected income will be utilized as follows. First, personnel cost. We expect, if everything goes well, to expend 108.85%, 85 billion, or 29.49% of the budget on personnel cost. Then overhead cost. We expect to spend 45.89 billion, or 12.43 billion of the entire budget. Capital cost. The total cost here is almost all the bulk of our money will go on capital expenditure. And here, this is one of the few budgets that is I think nationwide, that you find out that much money is put in capital instead of overhead and personnel costs. So here Mr. Chairman, by the grace of God, expect to spend 214.30 billion, which is 58.08% of the total budget of 369.04 billion. Major highlights of the proposed budget expenditure. Personnel cost for 2022. The nominal roll of 15,004 personnel and 3,200 expected recruitment of cadets are used in estimating the personnel cost of 108.85 billion, which comprises of 86.50 billion is an allocation for personnel salaries and allowances. 7.73 billion is provision for employers' contribution under the National Pension Scheme. 3.93 billion is a provision for employers' contribution to National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS. Then 8.45 billion is a provision for payment of annual group life and backlog of insurance. And then 2.10 billion is a provision of NSITF and ITF statutory payments. Overhead costs. An estimate of 45.89 billion has been provided for day-to-day administrative expenses of the service as follows. 5 billion is provision for staff loans and advances. 12.57 billion will be expended on miscellaneous expenses such as medical expenses, welfare, incentives, recruitment, and appointments.
The Assistant Controller General of Customs in charge of headquarters has been speaking on the training of newly commissioned officers in the Nigerian Customs Service. He said that the newly recruited officers will continue to implement laws approved by government. He speaks more on the number of issues.
It's a good development. After the recruitment exercise, the successful candidates were sent to training. The senior officers were sent to Lagos, while the junior ones were sent to Kano. So he decided to embark on that trip to see how the training is going on. And he was really impressed, especially the parade and other displays the cadets performed. He was really impressed with that. And that Immediately this set of officers finish their training, other officers will equally go for training again. Because if you can remember, there is an advertisement placed in the newspapers between the 13th to 24th of December. So a lot of candidates have applied and they are being screened. After screening, they are going to do the examination. Then based on merits again, other successful candidates are going to be employed. Listen to the answer I gave before now, that they are being taught all aspects of the custom job because they are being trained as full custom officers. But immediately they finish training, they are going to be placed in their various specialized fields to work. But if there is need for them to be transferred to any arm of the service, they can be transferred and they can fit in equally and perform the required assignment. Yes, some yes, like the junior ones that they are in Kano, they are really enjoying the training and they are happy about it. And one good thing that is interesting about this recruitment is that those who are really interested and those who performed very well are the ones selected. So you see, they have this enthusiasm, being initially having the hope of being officer, and eventually they succeeded in getting employment, recruited. Now they are in the training. So I believe by the time they finish and hit the field, the difference is going to be felt.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Assistant Controller General of Customs in charge of modernization unit of the Nigerian Customs Service has said the customs will soon start to scan over 400 containers every day at various ports in the country. He said that the scanning machine will enable the customs to dictate on custom goods and generate more revenue for the nation.
Safely, I can say above average, because the management of the Nigerian Customs Service directed us to go around and sensitize importers, licensed agents, and other stakeholders on the SOP approved by the management before rollout. And I'm happy to say in the course of the sensitization, they came up with their fears, their observations, and their concerns, and which we jointly address. And I'm happy to say at the end of the day, it was a success. The model the service approved today is what we call pre-scan regime, whereby if a vessel berths, all the containers will be scanned before going to stacking area, and the image will be stored. So by the time you make your declaration and the selectivity engine selects you for scanning, it's just for image analysts to bring up the image stored already. And if you are compliant, no issue, they are not suspecting anything, you will release it from custom control. There is no human contact. Number one is trade facilitation. And when the turnaround is faster, the end result is increase in the volume of trade, which will lead to increase in revenue. So ultimately, this will boost our revenue level and enhance national security, because every box coming into the country will be scanned. 400 containers every day will be scanned. We have a break period of just 4 hours to allow the machine relax, and then officers taking over. Our officers will work around the clock for 20 hours. The CGC recently granted out all the logistics we require to make it work.
The Federal Operation Unit Zone B has seized goods worth over 251 billion naira from smugglers operating along the nation's borderline. The controller also said that the unit seized over 1,000 bags of foreign rice from smugglers. The controller Zone B explained that his men also intercepted 2,348 sacks of donkey meat, which were handed over to the appropriate authority, including one suspect.
There are 126 parcels like this, and 12 sacks are behind us here. So I'm officially handing over to the representative of the NLE. He's going to evacuate it to his office to continue further investigation on it to ensure the source of this thing is identified, so that such product will not be allowed to be circulating and maybe later get to a wrong hand.
He called on smugglers to desist from smuggling and legitimate trade for the betterment and the growth of the Nigerian economy.
We also have 1,150 kg of foreign parboiled rice. As you must be aware, every now and then the federal government is reeling out agricultural policies that is geared towards homegrown food. We should grow what we eat. That is why Nigeria Customs Service we're always on it to ensure foreign rice that comes through an approved route, we don't allow it to circulate because of the sinister effect that it will have. If you allow the rice to go all over, those producers that are producing it locally here, they may end up packing. And when they pack, jobs will be lost, the industry will be closed, and conservation of foreign exchange will also equally be lost. We are getting it, and we are not relenting. One thing that will interest you, we arrested a trailer load of donkey meat. This donkey, donkey meat, we got it loaded in sacks. We recorded 2,348 sacks of donkey meat, valued at 28 million. As a responsible organization, we handed over to the Commissioner of Police Command here, who will investigate the matter the more and prosecute the offenders. In fact, they were in court today. So we wait for the outcome. Maybe the next meeting will tell you the outcome of what will happen on this transaction. We also have 7 units of used cars, used vehicles. You may tend to ask questions, used vehicles, why are we arresting it here? In the wisdom of the federal government, in order to have control, decided to allow the importation of used vehicles only through port and airport for control purpose. Any vehicle that comes through the border station as at now is liable for seizure, and we are getting it every day. We equally have 11 units of vehicles again. These vehicles are the means of conveyance. Means of conveyance means the vehicle that was carrying the illicit and custom goods. The goods that are illicit and the vehicle itself are all liable for seizure. So we don't allow it to circulate an inch. We also have 18 cartons of milk, 67 kegs of foreign vegetable oil.
Other items seized include 3,700 sacks of tomato, 18 vehicles, and 41 cartons of foreign spaghetti rice, so that all suspects arrested with the items were prosecuted according to the laid down laws. Also urge importers and agents to always come forward with proper documentation of their consignment. The Customs Area Controller in charge of Muritala Mohammed Command has again seized goods worth billions of naira from smugglers around the command. The controller handed over the seized items to the authority in charge of the consignment. He warned air travelers against smuggling of items outside the country. He speaks more on a number of issues. The seized items were imported with various air bills at dates and period for different ports of origin, air routes, different ports to Nigeria as final destination. The seized items were later handed over to the military.
Anybody can rob you with this. Anybody can intimidate you with this. And this type of things must have clearance from Nigerian Army. Look at what they wrote there, U.S. Army. That means for Army. When you are moving along the road in our country, sometimes you just see people coming out from the bush with military uniform. You don't know who they are. Some of them doesn't even carry their name tags or anything. And that is why sometimes you'll be baffled to say, who is this army on the road? Who is this soldier on the road? But not knowing that they are bandits or not knowing that they are armed robbers, using these type of things that we caught here to go and perpetrate what they are doing.
The command also seized suspected tramadol tablets and various non-compliant pharmaceutical products worth over 2 billion naira from smugglers. So the seized items were brought into Nigeria with various airway bill numbers.
I hereby hand over this medicament or pharmaceutical product which does not have NAFDAC number, does not have other required certificates, because we look for them and they didn't come forward, and that is why we are handing it over for them to carry out the correct thing to do. You cannot know the effect of these fake drugs until you go to the hospitals. That is why we keep on having this urinary issue, that is kidneys, liver, whatever, people taking wrong medication. That is our problem in this country.
It's a testament to the good working relationship that exists between the Customs Service and the NDLEA. And it goes with other security outfits we have in MMI here too. So, and what we are seeing here shows that this collective quest for a drug-free Nigeria can actually be a reality. We can all come together and make sure that we deodorize our society from the whiff of illicit drugs. So a big kudos to the customs for the collaboration. We appreciate them, and we know together in this matter of national concern, Nigeria can achieve what is created to achieve.
Be very careful, they should stop, because I think we have, the customs has woken up and are doing their job the way it's supposed to be done. So bringing in those illegal things will be a waste of time, because at the end of the day, they will be received, they will be seized. Equipment, military equipment, uniforms are not supposed to be brought in without authorization from the military.
Can you cite an instance of what we have here? Can you give us instance of what we have?
Yeah,
here?
like all this, like the military uniforms should not be brought in by illegal means without authorization from the military, and equipment also.
Controller, sir, since you took over this command,
Port head of NAFDAC here, NACO. Now, I'm using this opportunity on behalf of our DG, Professor Adeyeye Christiana, to thank the management of Custom under the leadership of Dala Dangnema for always extending good handshake of leadership to the agency. And there is a saying that goes like this, that a tree cannot make a forest. So we are indeed very glad to be here today.
what are you telling Nigerians right now?
Yeah, what I'm telling Nigeria right now is they should stop throwing stone. They should stop throwing stone, because it can land on anybody. It could be our relative that might be a victim, and whereby there are consequences of taking substandard or fake drug. It could lead to drug resistance. It could lead to death. And secondly, there are other measures that are applicable when one brings in substandard or fake products. If the person is being caught, then the person will face the official violation charges.
Hand over 83 packages of tramadol with how many airway bills?
6 airway bills.
6 airway bills coming from Pakistan and India. Well done, sir.
So on behalf of the chairman, Chief Executive of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, General Buba Mawa, retired, and my able commander, I hereby take delivery
83
of these 83 cartons of tramadol from the Custom Area Controller, MMIA.
According to him, a total of 16 billion naira was collected between January 2022 and March, compared to 12 billion collected in the same period in 2021. He said further that the government will go after the smugglers. Just before we round up this week edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you a report where seizures were made by various commands in the country. For me, Igiseme Etienne, thanks for watching.